8.
Normally used to watching ceremonial processions, the Queen and Duke of Edinburgh could today look down on a march of a different kind. Both were in residence as around 500 demonstrators filed noisily past Windsor Castle. Their aim was to walk on a mile-long path owned by the Queen in defiance of the new Criminal Justice Act, which bans trespass on private land. The campaigners have joined Ramblers, who've been battling for 20 years to get access.
We think they should get rid of it. And that's why we're here to say we're making an absolute mockery of the law in this sense, because it's a bad law, it's a rotten law, and we should throw it away.
Over 100 police officers, some on horses, allowed the march to go ahead after talks with Buckingham Palace. But once on the private land, some demonstrators tried to force their way through a police line towards the castle.
This is land normally reserved for the Queen and the immediate members of her family. It's the first time in 150 years any members of the public have been allowed to walk on it. There was little violence until the march reached the Frogmore Gate at the end of the walk, where protesters refused to move. At that point, police moved in to make several arrests. Later, police said they were satisfied their heavy presence on the Queen's private land was justified.
We're allowed on because this was agreed with the royal household, and it was felt better to do so, to let them on within certain limits, certain guidelines where they could go. They were allowed on to make their protest. This they did, and in fact it went in the main very peacefully.
The protesters will claim today as a victory, but they know a walk along a country path only takes them a short way down the long road to changing the law. Duncan Kennedy, BBC News, Windsor.
In the quarter-finals of the FA Cup...
Publicity for Roxette was more than low-key. The concert hall banner advertised a furniture exhibition. The audience mostly from the universities to see Europe's hottest act.
Exciting. I like to dance as well and listen to that. It's pretty good.
The concert started, fans without tickets left outside, craving more Western-style music, a trend that's bound to make the government nervous. This is the freedom of expression which worries the Chinese authorities. Under a strange ruling, Roxette were allowed in as a country band. The fans know they're not. They love them. They got here when Madonna, Michael Jackson and the Rolling Stones failed. Even so, their dress and the lyrics had to be approved in advance, and she's not even meant to talk to the audience.
It's a great, great honor for us to be here tonight.
Tomorrow, Communist Party officials from the Ministry of Culture will take stock and decide whether more rock and roll concerts are good or bad for China's development. Humphrey Hawksley, BBC News, Beijing.
That's it. That's all from the newsroom tonight. Good night.